Here's a question. How does parody work?
If you're blue and you don't know where to go to, why don't you go where fashion sits?
Thank you. We're the Cantina Band. If you have any requests, shout them out. Play that same song. All right, same song. Here we go.
Parody has existed for as long as people have told stories, showing itself in many different faces. However, contemporary parody has an increasingly homogeneous form. Whether you are parodying a specific work or entire genre, the formula is fairly consistent. You take the original structure of the thing and substitute drama for comedy.
Tell them to comb the desert, you hear me? Comb the desert!
While these parodies are funny on the surface, if you strip away the jokes, their stories are almost entirely indistinguishable from the works they are riffing off of. A Very Sunny Christmas is just a Christmas carol with jokes.
A ghost! No! Ghost! No! Ghost! No! Ghost! No! Ghost! Please. Get out! No. Get out! No. Get out!
Frank! Stop!
Deandra!
Stop it, Frank! You're supposed to listen to the ghost!
Threat Level Midnight is just Die Hard with jokes.
On your marks. Get set.
Die. Oh, yeah!
Fun as they are, one frequent consequence of the structure is a loss of substance. When the only thing that distinguishes a work is its surface components, then its artistry can't run very deep. And when an entire genre is defined by what's on its surface, the genre itself can become superfluous.
I was the least graceful at fountain dancing.
Yet in this sea of homogeneity, you can always find someone swimming against the current.
I'm Dan Harmon. I created NBC's Community.
We played Dungeons and Dragons together.
That was a game. This is paintball.
Dan Harmon's parodies take the concept of the work and substitute absurdity for plot, relying on the aesthetics of the source material to make the work coherent. Through this process, Harmon finds humor not only in the genre's surface motifs, but also its fundamental structure.
It's not a real train, it's a story device. Literally. A literal, literary device, quite literally, metaphorically containing us. A simulation. Worse, an anthology.
This can be seen throughout later Community, as well as Rick and Morty, but the strongest example is probably Rick and Morty episode 4-3. One crew over the crew crews Morty.
It's a calling card from Miles Knightley, a heist artist, aka a hipster dick whose adventures are 60% putting a crew together and 40% revealing that the robbery already happened and he's not worth our time because he's a hack piece of shit. I'm gonna kill him.
The episode starts when Rick and Morty are on an adventure and they find that something that they've been looking for has been stolen by a heist expert named
Miles Knightley.
In the opening scene, Rick sets up a parodic framework of heist stories, which the episode will follow. Actual heist movies might not be
60% putting a crew together,
but Crew Cruise is not a heist story. Instead of structuring itself like an actual heist movie, this episode is almost structureless. But by utilizing the aesthetics of the genre, it creates the illusion of story.
Ridiculous situation descending into heavy-handed drama for the illusion of story. Check.
This is most clearly seen through the series of increasingly absurd montages.
I hate heists so much, and the crew assemblies are the worst part.
Starting with the standard, albeit humorous crew setup, moving through the formation of a more absurd crew, and finally devolving into utter senselessness. To see just how unique this is, let's look at a much more conventional example of parody. Brooklyn Nine-Nine has a long-standing tradition of Halloween heist episodes, but to talk about a specific one, let's focus on Season 3. If we look at the sequence Operation Wrong Vent...
Comienza la operación. Oh, diablos, conducto equivocado.
What? That can't be right. Please tell me we were able to download these clips in English. Anyways, Brooklyn Nine-Nine commits itself to showing a compelling heist story. The episode, funny as it is, functions as little more than an Ocean's film with more jokes. While in this episode of Rick and Morty, the heist story is the joke. The scene at the end of Brooklyn Nine-Nine looks just like the episode of Rick and Morty, but, you know, makes sense.
Mi lectura de labios no es la mejor. Ahora que conocía su plan era fácil cambiarme. Mientras Scully movía con gracia a la bruja, yo me metí en el personaje. El capitán activó la bruja, lo que llevó a Jake a la sala.
At the end of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, we get an explanation of the plot twist that satisfies the audience's investment in the episode as a story. At the end of Rick and Morty, we get...
That was my plan the whole time. That's what I wanted you to think. I knew you would say that. I programmed you to believe that. You think that's true because I wanted you to think that. And I programmed you to believe that.
Rick and Morty may look like a heist story, but the narrative at the core of the episode ends up being little more than a series of nonsensical montages held together by energetic funk music. The structure-focused parody is to be expected from a writer that is so obsessed with structure in his own process.
Here we go. Of course, this thing is just a circle. You'd think it was so goddamn complicated.
The so-called story circle is my attempt to remove all of the hard and repeated work from the task of breaking a story.
I'll have to rig us a couple of spacesuits that start failing around here so we can pay a heavy price for re-entering at this threshold.
We have to leave the train?
We don't have to do anything, Morty. This is just a structural guide. We're obviously going to impart our own style.
The story circle, a playoff of Joseph Campbell's hero's journey, demonstrates Harmon's structure-first writing style. He sees just as much artistry in the broader construction of stories as he does in the momentary drama.
TV must be a circle. Ow! Ow! Ow!
Even though the writing of this episode wasn't accredited to Harmon specifically, his fingerprints are all over it.
Yes, Rick's disdain for the heist genre is absolutely based on mine, yeah.
We can see the influence that Harmon had over this episode considering that the credited writer said that she is a fan of heist movies.
I actually really like heist movies and love when you find out that it really was Brad Pitt that is in the SWAT team uniform, and you know, that's like the kind of stuff that I like.
Harmon is, after all, the co-runner of the show, and the style of parody on play here is very much his own. And in an age where every single parody looks the same, it's refreshing to see somebody get experimental with the genre.
Look, I'll be the first to say, like, I don't think you should make episodes based on your hatred of something. Whatever, man. Like, I just think it's ironic that the heist genre steals so much money from culture.